spot check me.
Hey.
You got us in the
I think we live, sir. Welcome. Another episode of What's the Word Wednesdays, where we do our very best to try to motivate you, encourage you, inspire you, lift you up, and give you some practical everyday nuggets that you can use for your business, overall life in general. Again, ladies and gentlemen, What's the Word Wednesday? We are back, and if you're chiming in live in the Platinum Network, or if you're chiming in via YouTube, we appreciate you. What's going on, fellas? We got none other than Mr. Lillard himself, Roger the Dodger. We also have none other than the superstar who almost needs no introduction, the world traveler, the travel oracle, Mr. Guru of all things travel, sports, and entertainment himself. Daryl Two Jackets Jenkins is in the building. What's going on, sir?
What it do, fam?
Everything is everything. Mr. Lillard, you always hitting us with the good announcements. Go ahead, sir.
Just got a few of them. First and foremost, I want to welcome all brand new team members jumping on here tonight. Make sure you take some copious notes on the information that we're going to convey to you on this evening. Also, each and every second and fourth Wednesday, we right here, 7 o'clock. Get your team, tag your team, get them on here, get them in so they can learn, get educated, get motivated, get inspired, so they can go out and do some positive things in their business, like make some money. Also, coming up is our 10-year anniversary. Right here in the DMV. If you're in DMV area, Virginia, DC, Maryland, we're going to have none other than our number 3 money earner in the company. Miss Natalie Graham's going to be in the building in Oxon Hill at the Harborside Hotel from 10 to 2. And then this gentleman needs no announcement. He is our CEO and founder, Mr. Donald Bradley, is going to be here. I'm thinking it's sold out, but guess what? Not for your guests. Get your guests in the building so they can be inspired on getting started right away with us as well. That's my announcements for right now. You guys got anything? You on mute, Daryl?
Yeah, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
I said you missed the person just invited was the general himself, $1 million income earner Orlando Moore will be in the building for our 10-year anniversary here in the Maryland area.
That's fire.
That's going to be fire. That's going to be hot. You're going to want to be in the building, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, if you're watching right now, this would be the perfect time for you to go ahead in the comment section and tag your business partner, tag somebody that needs to get a little bit of motivation, a little bit of fire put up under their butt, or just a couple of nuggets they need to go ahead and pick up for their opportunities. So take this time, tag your business partners and or sideline business partners. Let them know that we're on here live. We're getting ready to talk about a couple things as we are inside of what they call around the planet 40 days and 40 nights. It's like an all-out massive push to obviously increase the numbers, to grow this opportunity, but more importantly, to grow your business, right? And in increasing this push, multiple people being busy with some activity that we can duplicate, this is what helps create momentum. Now, obviously, the company is about 140,000 plus individuals strong. I forget how many of those, about half of that is actually Planet Marketing reps. But either way, that's a lot of individuals collectively pushing for a short period of time to increase the numbers. That collective effort is what causes momentum in the business for this company. We can have or go through momentum in this company and this business, and individually we miss momentum. Mr. Lillard, go ahead. And I know you know a lot about momentum. You've been around the industry for almost 30 years, right? You've seen the highs and lows. You've seen momentum come and go. Speak about the importance of collectively putting your efforts together to get the momentum going.
Well, first and foremost, you got to be intentional in your business. You got to be intentional. And being intentional is coming up with the game plan, staying plugged in, and you might want to sit down with your leadership, right? Have a discussion with your leadership on your game plan, because keep in mind everybody's timing is different in this business. You know, some people working two jobs, some people are coaches, football coaches. You got some people that are teachers. Everyone's timing is different. So the timing that you have available, you got to be intentional within that free time that you got to even before you even start your momentum. Because you can go after momentum, but if you ain't got no game plan, you got no strategy, it's going to be hard to even get any kind of momentum. So you want to make sure that what you're doing is intentional. Again, doing those things that I just went over just now to start your momentum. And I'll pass it on to on you, Daryl.
And Roger, what you mentioned is that this business looks different for everybody, right? When you think about it, that's the beauty of our industry. But what we have to remember is that we each are business owners. So regardless of how full your plate is, you still have a responsibility to own your business, to mind your own business, right? So at the end of the day, you got to figure out where in your busy schedule, what that, where those power hours are, those pockets of time that you can actively work your business. Especially as Eric mentioned, we're in the 40-day period, and 40 days and 40 nights is very intentional, right? It's biblical, of course, but for the purpose of this exercise, right, Mr. Bradley is looking at 140,000 agents, and he's looking to move that needle to 250,000. How do we get 110,000 individuals with 70,000 Planet Marketing reps and only 20,000 putting in some work, right? We got to own our own responsibility and say, this is my contribution to the planet, to the big team. And so we're going to do our part.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And to piggyback on Daryl, and to piggyback on that, because here's the thing. If you're not being intentional and you're looking for your team to get some momentum, how are they going to get? So they're not going to have a game plan. They're not going to have a strategy. They're not going to, they're just going to do what you're doing. So you got to make sure that you have an intentional game plan, intentional strategy on how you're going to get the momentum in your business, and then it'll duplicate. So
I'm gonna give you a different analogy of that, Raj, because here's the thing, right? Mr. Bradley was intentional in being on the IMV for several days leading up to convention, where he was sharing his vision. He was casting it amongst the people who were being responsible business owners at 8 o'clock in the morning or caught the replays in their back office, right? So your leadership doesn't have to cast a vision because the founder of the company did so, right? And the message that should be coming down through everyone's organizations, through the leadership, is what his vision is what he's looking for. And again, if everybody is doing their part, whether it is, I'm going to commit to getting 3 new business partners over the 40-day period, whatever that commitment is, you make that decision and you stick to that decision and you drive it all the way to the bank.
Drive it all the way to the bank. I like that, especially since this is a vehicle that's meant to be driven, right? At different speeds, so no one is behind you with the whip, right? You can drive this vehicle at your pace. But when we're talking about momentum, quite frankly, we're not trying to be moving slow, right? We appreciate anyone who's thinking about, I'm gonna take my own sweet time, Lord Jesus, y'all ain't gonna press me out. We're not talking about you. We're talking about the people who understand the importance of gaining momentum for your business so that the daggone business can take off the ground. And if I'm being frank, some people watching live and or recorded, some of y'all been with us long enough where you feel like your business should have been off the ground by now, right? And I would share with you that, as Mr. Lillard was saying, it's possible that you haven't been intentional about doing the certain activities that's going to have your business, i.e. the plane, pick up enough speed, momentum to get off the ground. We're in the travel business. In order for your plane, your business to get off the ground, it has to reach a certain amount of speed, fast. As a matter of fact, the plane burns the most fuel during takeoff. It's hard work to get that plane off the ground. Hard work, fast activity, fuel being burnt for a short period of time to get the plane off the ground. And for the people that want to move slow, Mr. Lillard says, if you take your business casually, your business becomes a casualty, right? So now your business is this airplane that you want off the ground, off this runway. And you can take it slow if you like, but what's going to happen to the slow airplane trying to get off the runway? It's going to crash and burn. It becomes a casualty because we, who are the pilots, don't understand that for a second, I need to be all gas, no brakes. All gas, no brakes for a second.
Some people playing
the runway.
Some people was playing just circling the parking lot.
Ooh, they doing donuts.
Talk about that, Mr. Let's talk about that.
They doing donuts.
I like that one.
So some people was playing. Well, we all know. Well, there's a good book. What's the name of that book? I'm brain farting. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He talks about in the book. He says, your airplane has to get up to 200 miles an hour to get off the ground. But some people's plane is just circling the parking lot. And they're not even crashing and burning. They're on the Zooms, right? They're on tonight's training. They go to the meetings. They're on everything. You see them, they're on everything, but they're not getting their plane off the ground. They're just going around in circles on the parking lot.
They still being taxied by that little bus, that little car, whatever that thing is called, the taxi, right? That's sad.
And Raj, those are the people I consider to be those who check the box, right? Oh, I was on that call. Oh, I went to that event. Oh, I saw that training, but they never action any of the things that they have taken away in the note. They got tons and tons of notes, but they've never decided to sit down and have a conversation with themselves and say, what is it I need to do with all this information that's going to get me to my next level? Again, they're on every PBR that we do, right? They've been to every Super Saturday. They've been to the weekly meetings, and they hear the same information over and over and over again for now, because we've been partnered this year, 9 years. So if you've been in this business longer than 12 months and you have not reached Goal Builder, Director in Training, maybe even 2020 as a personal goal, what are your personal goals inside of your business, and what is it going to take for you to get there? Looking at, we were just on a Goal Builder and Above call listening to Brandy Dennison, right? We seen her at convention, walking the stage, getting all of these awards. She went from being a 1-star to a 3-star in 1.5 years in this business, having a team of over 900 people, and now wearing the sapphire ring in 1.5 years. There's people on this line that's been here 1.5 years and don't have 9 people. She has 900 plus.
She got a Learjet. She don't have a 747.
Listen, and they have over 3,000 friends on social media. So you mean to tell me we can't find 9 people who are already booking their own travel, who need supplemental income, always looking for ways to make extra money? That means we're not talking to enough people, as Roger would put it.
Not talking to enough people. And because, again, going back to the plane analogy, ain't no point in this plane leaving the ground if you ain't got enough people on your plane. Where we going?
Enough luggage, because
you ain't got where we going? You got nobody on this plane want to take a trip, and our job is to find people that I promise you, if you own Southwest Airlines, you probably have no problem finding people that want to take a flight.
You might have them now that they've made all these changes.
You're right. They have to double down on their marketing and their intentionality to trick people, or I shouldn't say trick, but to coerce people into still doing business with them. They're going to have to put it out there. It's going to be on your social media page. It's going to be on TV, internet, and radio, and whatever they have to do to get you to say, you know what? It makes sense to go ahead and pay for them bags anyway. You're going to do it. So as a business owner in this space, what do we have to do online, offline, to find some people, the people that want what we have to offer, right? I'm not trying to sell an Eskimo ice, right? I'm trying to sell people stuff that they want, right? And we got the best product in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't get momentum and the intentionality in this business if you don't have a strong enough belief system in this business. Let's talk about that real quick. Because the reason a lot of people who've been taxiing the runway, they don't believe the plane can fly. They don't really believe it. They don't have a strong enough belief system. I know you told me that girl got 900 people on her team, Mr. Jenkins, but I don't really believe it. I don't believe it can happen to me. I don't believe that I can meet one person tomorrow that might lead me to another 500 people. I don't believe in this opportunity for real. Because true belief is action. Right? Them people who blow themselves up around the year when they blow themselves up, they blow themselves up because they believe in whatever the heck it is they believe in enough to make them blow themselves up. I believe this company will pay me enough to change my life and my family's life, enough for me to take action. Mr. Little, talk about the belief system.
Right. So before we get to the belief system, I want to piggyback on something you said earlier. You said earlier some of the people don't have no people on their plane, right? So you know what that means? That their airport about to go in credit hole. Airport about to shut down.
The airport about to get shut down.
But let's talk about belief system. There's a few things I kind of jotted some things down while you two were talking earlier, and I call them the 3 S's. The first thing, the 3 S's. The first S is being serious is the word. Mr. Bradley said, we have to have more serious conversations with people. Like everyone watching this tonight, and everyone that's going to watch this later, make sure you hit hashtag replay if you watch this later on, by the way. So we're talking to people on a regular basis daily, but we're not having a serious conversation with them. And a lot of times it's because our belief system is weak, or we think that the business is not for that person. Like that person that you think will, won't. And that person that you think won't, will. So whenever I'm talking to somebody and my brain says, and I'm just wired this way now because I've been doing this a long time, if I think that person won't do this business, I'm talking to that person. My energy says, you know what? They wouldn't do nothing like this. And then you say, you know what? Maybe they will. And then I talk to them. Right? Second is sacrifice. Second S. Yeah, sacrifice. If you want to get whatever your goals are for your business, to get to those goals, there's got to be some sacrifice involved. And there's some things you got to give up to go up. Now, I know Kelly, she was on here a couple of weeks ago. She got a system in place where, she's at a place in her business where she doesn't have to give too many things up. But if you are, watching All My Children, or if you watching, you binge watching something and you ain't done no 3-way calls, then you're not sacrificing. The last one is a sense of urgency. When you set your goals, how fast do you want to become a bronze, silver, gold? Is it written down? There's a good book that says put your vision upon a tablet and make it plain. And if you have nothing written down, their goals ain't written, they probably not going to happen. And so that's what I want to mention about getting some momentum. Those are the 3 things you want to make sure that there's some sacrifices, there's some urgency, and you want to have some more serious conversations, Mr. Bradley would say.
Well, I would imagine if you're doing all those things, that will help you with your belief. Mr. Jenkins, what you think about this belief system that people are, in my opinion, lacking?
You know what, Eric, I don't even think it's just the belief system in itself. I think that they don't believe that they deserve to win at a high level. And so that that comes from, sometimes, your environment, right? How often do we get a chance to see $1 million income earners that look like us? We don't. How many times are you in the room with the CEO and founder of a company that you can take pictures with, shake their hand, and hold a conversation about your future self in a space where you could win?
That's not that nugget.
That's not always offered to us. And so for that reason, it's like it's almost too good to be true when you think about it, until you have that aha moment and say, you know what, I'm going to bet on me. I remember, and I tell this story a lot when I talk to, new partners that join my team. I had no expectations coming into this opportunity, right? I figure it's $200, right? I loaned $200, or I spent that on buying crabs or some shoes or some shades. So what's the worst that could happen? I could get my return on my investment by betting on myself. I'm going to loan it to me. And I got into the opportunity with the intent to only book travel until somebody knocked on my door and said, how do I do what it is you're doing? I never, I had asked somebody, but they never told me how to do it. So I thought it was selfish. Long story short, when my team started building itself, I put myself in the rooms where I could hear from the founder himself. Not that to take anything away from my amazing sponsors, but sometimes you got to hear it a different way from the person whose vision it is. You got to hear where they're going with this. Being in Atlanta over the weekend at the forum, in the men's locker room, they were having a conversation about why more men don't do this business, as Planet Marketing is 77% predominantly women. And they were talking about guys like things like ego, or you can't approach them with the travel aspect, but more so let's talk about how to free your family, create a legacy, financial, you know what I'm saying? Those kind of things when you're talking to a guy, right? Not trying to emasculate them, but more or less helping them understand that what you're offering them is going to be able to help them free their family. A lot of the times we're afraid to even just have a conversation with people, period, about anything in this business. We don't know how to approach them. We don't know if they're going to do it. What if they tell me no? Who cares? Let them tell you no. Look, the quicker I can get a no, the quicker I can go on. And again, understanding that the no doesn't mean they're telling you personally no. They could be saying no to the opportunity, one, because they don't have enough clarity about what it is you're offering them, because maybe you didn't cast the net wide enough, right? You talking about being a travel agent. Nobody in their elementary school class, when they were asked, what do you want to be when you grow up, Eric, said they want to be a travel agent.
Right.
But if you ask them they want to be a millionaire, be rich, might be a different response. So thinking about how you're approaching it, again, can increase your belief. When I started seeing people that look like us win on stages, getting rings, to me, I was like, it's a no-brainer. We're in the right place. I now have to position myself to do something different to be able to be where they are. And whatever that took or takes, I'm going to get it done.
I love it.
And real quick, some of those no's are just no's for right now. They're going to
situations change.
They're going to
think about all of those people, Raj, who lost their job in the federal government workforce. They didn't anticipate that to happen. They didn't know come January that they were going to be losing their livelihood that they've worked in for 20 plus years, that they thought was safe and secure. And we get up every single day and give our blood, sweat, and tears to people and places and things that don't have our best interest at heart. None of them are asking how your kids doing. I saw they were sick. None of them are saying we're going to send you a $10,000 check when you hit 5-star, right? So again, it's perspective. It's what do people want from this business? You join for a reason. So create the momentum within yourself first. You got to get yourself past go. You got to make a decision. What is your ultimate end game? What do you want from this business? And it's nobody else's responsibility to help push you out the nest. You have to want that.
You gotta want it.
And I'd rather get a no from somebody, right? For me sharing the opportunity, than not saying nothing at all, and then they go say yes to somebody else because I didn't say nothing. That happens a lot. Some of you watching this happen too.
And guess what? Some of it be their family. The ones they watch get on the plane.
That's happened, yeah.
The ones they watch get on the plane. That's the crazy part. It's like you see them and don't say. I got a guy right now. I just saw on his Instagram page. I've been prospecting him since we was in the other opportunity. He refuses to join because he doesn't want to book travel for everybody else, but he on another trip. I said, bro, you done took your explicit on another trip. I'm gonna have to come meet you so we can talk about you getting started, so you can get some pocket change back on what you spending. You done took 4 trips this year. So again, it's conversation piece, and again, they don't understand it from literally. One of the things Mr. Bradley talked about this weekend was, doing big launches, right? And not being more intentional, having those conversations. So while I was in Atlanta, I invited my prospects, one of which I had been talking to for 6 years. He didn't see the vision, but his lady did. And so me showing them, since y'all book Carnival, here's what you're going to get when you partner with me. Oh, and by the way, here is the extras because now I'm certified to train you to success. She's already working on their first trip. She done got a Google form already set up for me to check. She ready to rock and roll for a trip that they're booking for January and then another in July. Right out their gate, simply because I was there to be able to share with her what the business can do and showing commission percentages. So she looking at it like, this what we've been missing all this time? Oh yeah, let me see if I can get at least 4 people to go with us. That's 4 cabins at $300. Boom, I'm in profit mode. Now they working on the next one. I said, if they can't go in January, get them to go in July. Offer them that trip. It's the same ship. So again, having those conversations and being intentional about the people and how the business can benefit them is ultimately going to help them get closer to a close.
One thing is good is that, again, we have a non-aggressive product, right? It's just travel.
We'll have to force it.
You're gonna do it or you're not, and we don't have to have any love lost in the in between, which makes it for a much easier conversation if I'm talking to somebody that travels frequently about how you can benefit from your frequent travels. I mean, it just makes sense, right? If I talk to a foodie about this amazing food, they're gonna be interested. Whether they buy it from me right now or not, I'm talking to a person where I'm going to have a much smoother conversation. Imagine talking to a vegetarian about these good steaks, right?
Or those pretty wings Preston be talking about all the time.
About what?
Those pretty wings Preston be talking about all the time.
You know, they ain't gonna want to hear anything about that. Even if it doesn't make a difference. Being intentional to offer the opportunity from whichever side of the coin you decide you want to be pushing. Guys, listen, I be hearing this one often. Speak about this real quick. Because Darryl, you was just talking about it from a business owner perspective, where they're hesitant to make these aggressive moves for their business. But simultaneously, I hear kind of the same excuses from people who aren't in the business. And this excuse comes both ways, in the business and in the business, not in the business. The person is saying, I am not that passionate about travel. Now, a whole bunch goes through my mind when I hear people tell me, you know, you done paid $200 for this business, but you're just not that passionate about travel. My response is, listen, I'm not that passionate about travel either. If we being 1,000, right? I'm passionate about what the income in this vehicle can do for, you know, X, Y, and Z. I was never passionate about not one of my jobs, maybe the first one, because I wanted to be an electrician when I was an electrician, but they fired me from being a daggone electrician. Passion went out the window for all jobs, right? You take most jobs, 80% of people, I believe, if not more, take a job, not because they're passionate about, you know, driving the bus or waving flags or whatever it is a person do. You took this job because in the paper that you was looking through, they was paying the most. Or this job was in your neighborhood, or you know what? I can type. I'll take that job. I can answer the phone. I'll take that job. And then you took that job, and it's nice if it works out and you like it. But was you ever passionate about it? Probably not. But we give it 8 and 16 hours a day to stuff we're not passionate about. How do y'all deal with that when y'all hear this? I'm not passionate.
I think for me, if they're saying they're not passionate, you know, I'm gonna start asking questions, like qualifying questions. So, what are you passionate about?
That was the first thing that came to my mind.
What are you passionate about? I got to find out. You know, I remember my first business I ever got involved in. Some of you heard of this company called Amway, 1997. And Bill Britt, he said, you know, you want people to partner with you that's passionate about something. You know, whether it's church, whether it's flying kites, whether it's car racing, like what is it that you're passionate about? And then I need to find out why you're passionate about that thing. Because once I find out the why, then I could kind of correlate, I could tie in, you know, travel with, you know, a lot of times some people just never been anywhere. That's why they're not passionate. And there's some people that made any money. That's why they're not passionate. But a matter of fact, I was in a convention and a young lady said, you know, I'm not photogenic on Facebook. That's why I don't go online prospecting. So I asked this question. I said, I forget her name, but I said, so these next 30 days on the 1st of September, I need you to go online. I need you to meet uh, um, at least 2 people a day for 30 days. Just, hello, how you doing? Two a day for 30 days. I need you to do that. I said, at the end of the month, that's 60 people. I need to see 60 names of people you said hello to. I'm gonna pay you $5,000 just for those 60 names. And instead, she said, well, "I'll do that, of course." Now the passion is there. But see, what we got to do is that philosophy has to be in your brain to get to that 5,000. You already have to have that mindset already. And so I just got to find out what the why is, and I'll challenge the person on the why. And before I go on, we got a bunch of comments, Eric, in the
Go ahead, jump in the comments, answer some questions if they got any questions or comments. And we ain't get no shout outs to the people who watching us live from the Platinum Network. We appreciate it.
So we got Crystal, I'm gonna make sure I pronounce the name.
About the murder names.
Firth, Ivy, Antoinette, Deborah Barr, Queen B, Dan Brown, Ivy, Antoinette again, DeAndre Black, what's up, DeAndre? Kelly Wyatt, the I can't even get the words out. He's just killing it. I'll say that. Jamie Best, welcome. Yolanda, Brandon, Reese Johnson, and that's it. But I think we got a couple of comments. Where was I at? She said hello from somewhere. Oh, she can't hear. Chris Smallwood, can you hear us now?
Likely, she responded, so I think she can probably
I
hear
think
now.
she's on a cruise somewhere.
Okay. And now she actually she shared something. Says an individual messaged me this morning because she asked her longtime agent, who she books through another agency, to teach her the business, and the agent said no. When she called me, I told her, "Yep, I got you. We have an appointment when I come back to the land."
Which is great. Again, the business is the business, and it's bigger than just travel. I think that's what people get hung up on. And, a lot of people, even if they join in the business for the travel aspect, I asked the question to my team today. I'm like, look, if you're not building a team, are you at least booking travel? Right? We got 2 businesses, 1 opportunity, 8 streams of income per month, potentially. What are we doing? Right? Are we doing anything? Because at the end of the day, the purpose of owning a business is to grow financially. Year over year, we're looking at increased profits. So what are we doing? And what's stopping us if we're not in that space? I think sometimes people, going back to your question about people not being passionate, Roger took the question out of my mouth, because first thing I would ask is, well, what are you passionate about? Or are you passionate about your family? Because at that point, now you're going to find that pain point, and from their response, I'm going to drill down and continue to, before I then lead in with my next step about how the business can help them. We got to understand what they're most passionate about. For some people, it may not be booking astronomical amounts of travel. It may be securing a legacy for their family. And I always share a story about how my oldest godson, who is overseas playing basketball, when he was 10, his father was a former military, had a other than honorable discharge, and passed away of colon cancer when he was 10. So naturally, he didn't get any of the benefits, being his surviving, the survivor, right? So what I said was, now that he done lost his father, and he lost the next man in their bloodline that was related to them, who was his uncle, a few years later, that won't happen in this case. He's the heir to my business. So everything that I did was to build a business that I could will to him. Even if he doesn't need it, he'll be in great position. So when we eclipse that 6 figures, and I listen to the individuals at conventions and other major events, when they say this ring doesn't signify just 6 figures, it is now the life insurance policy for my family, right? You got to put that into perspective into people's minds. So even as you build your residual checks every single month, that's not just a residual check. The goal is to grow that amount every single month. Challenge yourself to grow it, because that's what's going back to your family. Getting to that 1-star directorship, securing that Planet Pledge, that's for your family. So if you're not passionate about travel, be super passionate about your family, if nothing else.
If nothing else.
We got Cameron Dawson.
Warren Buffett said that whatever you are passionate about, you should make that your hobby at the end of the day, right? That outside thing. Obviously, you should be passionate about your family and things of that nature. But typically when people start talking about, well, I'm not passionate about that travel thing. I like selling jewelry, or I like hair, or I like, messing with these fuzzy wuzzes. So whatever the thing is that the activity is that they think they're more passionate about, in most cases, according to Warren Buffett, usually doesn't lead to life-changing income. Your passions usually lead to something that's a hobby, right? And we kind of happen to have the best of both worlds in an industry and a product that happens to be travel, where a person could naturally be passionate about travel. And yeah, it works hand in hand and we can make some money in it. But I don't care if we were selling used toothpicks. If Mr. Bradley put together this compensation plan, the most aggressive compensation plan that I've seen in my 6+ years in network marketing, if the compensation plan were the same for selling used toothpicks, I'd be a #1 income earner, still building a team, passionate about what I'm passionate about, and this toothpick vehicle just happens to be funding my visions and my dreams. And like Darryl said, it just happens to be that life insurance for the family. But I ain't passionate about toothpicks
or used ones for that matter.
Or used ones, absolutely.
I was gonna say, thank God we have an amazing product that is simple and sexy, and we don't have to convince people to get on cruise ships, to rent cars, to stay in hotel beds. They're gonna do these things anyway.
Hey fellas, Cameron Dawson dropped something.
What's that?
Cameron Dawson dropped something. She says, when you're passionate about what you do, doors open, opportunities find you, and you inspire others along the way.
I like that. Say that again.
When you're passionate about what you do, doors open, opportunities find you, and you inspire others along the way. When you're passionate, and that's fire right there. You can drop the nugget sound on that one. That's fire right there, because
that's absolutely.
Because watch this. None of us would be here if our parents weren't passionate, right?
I would probably disagree. I can't say that they were passionate. I got a few choice words for some parents, especially Raj. You in that annual picture at Freaknik. I'm gonna need you to put that in a vault somewhere and stop pulling out every year.
Once a year, man. I gotta let y'all see how I was rolling when I was 21, 1989.
You talking about that old picture he put out again?
I did it again.
I'm glad I missed it this year, man.
Once a year, man. I do it once a year.
Nah, man. Don't nobody care no more, Roger. Them days is gone, brother.
He wasn't trying to be passionate in those days. He
100-something.
Nah. You was fishing, Roger. You still fishing. That's what that is. I know. Me and Darryl know when you fishing, when you put that out there. I ain't gonna describe the picture. You guys had to be in the business inside joke, I guess. You had to know what we're talking about. But Roger was fishing at the beach, and he annually goes fishing once a year with that picture. That is hilarious.
You know what? That is his conversation piece. That's how it gets started. People start asking questions, and he start prospecting at that point. See, he thinks he's slick.
Darryl gets it. See, that's exactly. See, people accept it now.
That's amazing. Listen, I get it. The question becomes, what type of prospects you looking for based on these conversations, right? I understand. I know you prospecting, buddy. Them some good conversation starters.
Man.
But since we're talking about that, the fact that you're using, when we talk about marketing, right, and doing things intentional, right, to to get people to look at you at the end of the day, right? That's what marketing is. I'm doing something intentional to get you to look, to get eyeballs on my page. Sometimes I don't even have to say nothing. Like with Mr. Lillard's picture, he ain't got to say nothing. He gonna get 2 to 3 types of people that reach out to him just because of that one post. Same thing for you, ladies and gentlemen. There's some pictures that you got in your phone library. You thinking your beard ain't shaped up or your hair wasn't done, but you was doing something regular, natural. And you can post that picture of you looking not perfect, and it's going to do exactly what Daryl said. It's going to start some conversations. I just started one with one of my old friends. I hadn't seen this dude in about 10 years, but he posted this looked like a miniature-sized doll version of himself, and his comment was, "Man, they got it right, all the way down to the clothes or something." And my comment was, "Yeah, all the way down to the big forehead." Boom, just to start something, right? Now we going back and forth, and now he about to be in the inbox, or he was in my inbox saying something slick that ended up leading to, "Hey man, when you booking your next trip?" We just intentionally starting stuff. There was a Super Saturday we went to, and the young lady who just got that $500,000 ring, she said that she's a comment creep. See, this implies intentionality. She's a comment creep. This means she's creeping in the comment sections of not just her posts, but anybody's posts. Creeping, looking intentionally for conversations that are around pain points or travel. She's intentionally looking for it. We are professional problem solvers. Part of the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, you haven't found enough problems to solve. And you're worried about trying to solve your family members' problems, and they're not listening to you. Your cousin and them, they're not listening to you because they know your problems. All the billions of people on social media don't know you, know your problems, and as far as they're concerned, tomorrow, you can become the guru of the problem solving that they have, whatever the issue. Because you know something that they don't. It doesn't have to be about travel. It could just be about how to dress properly when you at the beach, Roger, right, in 2025. I'm just a human, but my point is, comment and creep intentionally. Boom. I got the answer to that. Instead of some of us, I've watched some people, and I ain't gonna call your name. I see some people comment creeping, adding jokes and things like that inside of people's posts. That is great if you being intentional to go somewhere, but if we just talking to be talking, starting stuff to be starting stuff. I see people in the travel industry, they comment to random stuff with the new one. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. Y'all seen that? It's funny, but where we going with that? If I'm in the travel business and I intentionally say, well, nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday, I can think of something that beats a Jet 2 holiday. We need to talk about it though. But if I intentionally say that, where are we going intentionally? Jenkins, I know you got you often a person that I would say don't waste your words. And if you speaking or posting, it's with intentionality. I saw a couple posts just the other day. I was like, I'm still in that one. I'm still in this one, right? We in a copycat league, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to reinvent the wheel either. I'm not just a comment creep. I'm a post creep, right? I'm looking for y'all successful posts that's doing well so I can copy and do it again. If it's making Daryl some headway and some money, what's the difference between me and Daryl? He posted it before.
Yeah. One team, one dream, and we're not swimming in the same circle. So at the end of the day, if it worked for me, borrow it and see if it works for you. The business is not cookie cutter. So I tell people all the time, listen, try to see what happens. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You can end up successful. So there's that. But again, you do have to be intentional. And social media, while it, many people use it in various different ways, right? You're starting to see more older people opening up to Facebook and social media platforms. I've seen them dancing on TikTok. I'm not a huge fan of that. But listen, whatever is going to get your engagement up, because that's super important. You need visibility in order for people to hear from you, right? if you're not visible, then at the end of the day, people don't know what you have to offer. There's people who have been sitting on their business, and if I go up and down their social media platforms in any of the major platforms, I wouldn't even know they owned a business of any kind. I wouldn't even know that you could potentially help me, because there's nothing that leads me to that on anywhere on your post. There's no successes. I mean, I watch all of the foolish stuff that people used to share, fights and political stuff. Me, again, there's a rule, right? 80-20. You want 80% of your social media to be about you, who you are as a person, so people don't think that you're spamming them. That 20% is about various things in your business. It could be you traveling. People always see me gone. They're like, when is your next trip? That's the first thing people say. Or are you home? Is your feet on U.S. soil? Where are you now? Are the comments that I often get, because people always see through my social media that I'm never in the Maryland area. I'm always gone, right? They see that I'm cooking something. Oh, I want some. Oh, that look good. Oh, that look like it's. So you have to do things that's going to create engagement. And I often tell people, use open-ended questions. If you're asking people about when is your next vacation and where is it to? How did you book your last trip? Did you use an agent, or what platform did you book? You'll get to see the people who follow you, what their responses are, which then gives you the ability to go and start documenting, right, their responses. Okay, these group of people I know I need to approach with this because this is how they did this. But if you're not using your social media platform to your benefit, then what are we using it for? Talking about intentional. That's what using social media is. Asking those questions, getting the engagement from the people, right? So you can now see how you can potentially help them. Don't just post funny stuff all day just because it's funny.
Just because it's funny without
intention.
And
that's a great segue, what you were saying earlier about what we're posting on social media. Tonight, if you're just jumping on, I see some new faces on tonight. We're talking about building momentum for your business. And if your page, in other words, Daryl, Eric, you said that you're copying and pasting, you piggyback off of Daryl's. This is a follow the leader. Whoever's having success, you should be doing some type of due diligence on what they're doing on social media, whether it's social media, whether it's belly to belly, but you should be finding out what they're doing to have success. And so if this is you, if you just gotten started, you brand new right now, you are your momentum. So now you gotta, start duplicating what the successful people are doing, and don't limit yourself and start saying, oh, I don't know enough to say this, or I don't know enough to say that. That just simply means that you're not plugged into the system, and you're not duplicating what the leadership is showing, because the system is set up for everyone. I don't care if you're brand new today or you've been around for 5 years. The system is set up for all of us to gain momentum, right? The system is simple. It's not easy. The hard part is getting people to believe, as Daryl said earlier, what is your belief system like? If your belief system is out of whack, guess what? Now it's time to start doing some personal development. What are we reading? If you're not reading, guess what? You're not leading. So again, for me, when I got in this industry a long years ago, I just stayed close to the fire. I stayed close to people who was moving and shaking. If you weren't moving and shaking, I wasn't hanging around you. And so that's what I recommend, and if you're in another state, then guess what? And we all got a phone, we all got numbers. And we're not, we're okay if you call, because guess what? The squeaky wheel get the attention. If your wheel ain't squeaking, you ain't getting no attention. And that's why your business is cold. That's why your airports are shutting down. That's why your planes are circling the parking lot. That's why they're crashing and burning, because we're not doing anything. I shouldn't say anything, but we're not doing the main things to get your plane off the ground. To get your
Raj, you know what? Something else you mentioned in that, I wanted to go back to the social media piece, because I think if people focused on, maybe going live more, right? Doing a social media story time or storytelling blitz, right? Think of every day of the week, there is a specific topic you can use, right? Monday, you could go on live and speak motivation for Motivational Monday. right? You can go on Tuesdays, you can do travel tip Tuesdays, Wednesday, winning Wednesdays, announcing all of your wins. Maybe it's you completed a new certification, or you got a client, or you got a new business partner, right? Speaking about wins and asking your audience. Thursdays, you can do Throwback Thursdays, right? Where you could post your throwback, whether it was you in junior high school, maybe college, could be even a trip that you did 2 years ago that you remember was a really enjoyable time and you wanted to share. And then Fridays, you can do, freestyle Fridays and kind of just run with whatever comes to the top of your mind. But utilize your social media platform across the days. Go live. It doesn't have to be 3 hours. I know if you want TikTok, I've seen people on TikTok for hours. But if you're on Facebook, just a Facebook Live to create some engagement and speak to your people, right? I often, try to go live and share where I'm going next, talk to the people. I often, when they see me in destination, I'm doing a room tour, so they see that I go live. I got to share where I'm staying, right? Sometimes they'll see some of the entertainment, what I'm eating. I let them into my world from that perspective, and it then opens their mind to say, maybe I'm ready, right? Can you share some information with me about what it is you're doing? I always see you gone. Oh, that's a nice award you just got. So now they're understanding, because again, people follow things that are of success. So when you get those certificates and you're in the destination at a training, you're sharing what you're doing, the aha moment at some point for some people following you will turn on.
Absolutely right. It's something important to keep note or keep in mind about that strategic approach that Mr. Jenkins just gave y'all. He gave y'all a strategy just now. So if you're watching the replay or go back and watch it again, he gave you a basic strategy. He didn't even say post 5 times a day, 3 times a day. He just gave you a basic strategy. Mr. Jenkins, a lot of people start worrying about when they get started on that strategy, or any one that we start talking about. They start looking for those instantaneous gym results that you just not going to get. And so I've been posting all month, and I ain't got 30 people to join my business. I posted for 30 days straight, and 30 people joined that work. Some people won't even make it a week. I've been posting that people like him, and they saying stuff, but they ain't making no movement. They're not doing nothing. At the end of the day, it's going to require your consistency along with that strategy, right? And I'm gonna give you an extra level to take with that particular strategy, since we're giving you some basic stuff to do, right? Mr. Jenkins just described for you how you should be posting. And what I'm saying, regardless of who the people are that are watching, what you need to start doing after you're posting for the week is you need to watch or go and inspect who been watching you, who been hitting the like button, and who's been watching your content. And the reason you want to do this is so that now, the next week, when you're starting to follow Mr. Jenkins' strategy, that you're not going live for the trending topics. You're now going live where you're doing videos and contents speaking directly to your audience, to people who've been watching and following you. So now what you start doing is creating or developing content specifically for those people. So if you're part of a church group or whatever church you go to, and half your church watching all your posts anyway, and some of these people personally, and guess what? Life issues are the same for a lot of people. So now you can start going on social media, and I'm really just talking to Miss Jenkins and Johnny directly without using their name. And what I'm saying to them as it pertains to this business or whatever else is applicable to a bunch of people. So when I post the video about the single mama that's struggling, blah, 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 yakety smackly, I'm talking about the 1 or 2 single mamas I know and their direct issues. Oh, you missed that car payment, blah, blah. I'm speaking directly to them, but at the same time. And what you'll find is your following will start to grow, because now you're not just on here talking about whatever comes to mind. You are solving problems. You are addressing pain points. Matter of fact, give you something better. You might got some issues, your daggone self, and you don't want to talk about other people's stuff. Talk about your personal pain points without saying that they're your personal pain points. And just because you could probably talk all day about how much you can't stand your job and so on and so forth and blah, 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 and then solve the problem for me. Yeah, I was like that too. I had the 3 part-time jobs and so on and so forth. But I found a way. How does this opportunity solve the problem for the people you know following you? That's all I'm saying. Mr. Little, like you had to say something.
You know what?
And
Before you get started, because Eric kind of led into another segue talking about the strategy. Let's enhance the strategy. Right now, we have the ability to use OpenAI or ChatGPT, right? And so I just went to ChatGPT and said, give me 10 engaging Motivation Monday topics that I could share on Facebook Live to inspire my audience to set the tone for the week. It gave me 10 topics. So now all you will do is take one of those 10 topics on a Monday and you will talk about the topic.
Well, people lazy, dog. Give us 3 of them topics they gave you so far. Give us 3 of them.
Boom, let me give you 3. People plus priorities equal results. Why focus and alignment matters more than talent. That's 1. Turning setbacks into setups, reframing challenges as opportunities for growth. That's 2. The small wins that lead to big victories, celebrating progress to keep moving forward. Should I keep going? I'm just saying, when you understand what it is you're working towards, now you can utilize AI, even in the most generalist form, ask it a question, refine the prompt, right? Drill down, ask it more questions, and allow it to help you. But sometimes we have to get out of our own way and being afraid to utilize the things that we have at our fingertips that can help us grow our business.
And listen,
that's a great
ChatGPT. Hold up, Rod. The ChatGPT, we got to go ahead and add this one too. ChatGPT gonna do that for you, for your post. But the more specific you are and consistent, because the more consistent you are, ChatGPT will start to recognize what's called your brand voice, right? So the more specific you are with ChatGPT as it pertains to your business and all the questions you got, it's going to start suggesting stuff. So when I ask ChatGPT to come up with a particular post or whatever, or reword this for this topic or this thought, boom, it's going to give me one answer based on what I'm talking about. But because ChatGPT knows I'm in network marketing in the travel industry, I'm doing this on Facebook or whatever, it will then say, well, would you like me to revise this into a shorter, more engaging version and give you 3 additional copies that you can use for, are you kidding me? And I'll say, yes, it's going to give me 3 new ones. And then it'll say, well, look.
I'm going to give you one more better, though. It says, would you like me to write out short opening scripts for each of these so you have ready to go talking points when you go live? And it is doing the work for you. All you're doing is massaging whatever it is, so it's not robotic. But at least you have a baseline to work from.
You got to start somewhere.
Beautiful. This is beautiful. And my segue to what Daryl was saying earlier is, some of us, because they're not computer savvy, we afraid. Listen, we need everyone watching this tonight, whether you're new or old, you've been around for a short time or a long time. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You got to make mistakes in order to get it done right. If you ain't making no mistakes, you ain't doing nothing. If you're not doing something up, you're not really working your business. And guess what? You can't really break it. All you can do now is learn from it. You're going to learn from your mistakes. So do it all wrong. Give me that ignorance on fire. That knowledge on ice thing. I need someone they on fire. They don't know what they're doing, but they work in their business and they making those mistakes. So
I don't want to look it up, but what do I got in my head? I know what it means, but I'm almost tired of hearing a statement though. What do savvy mean? I'm tired of people telling me what they're not savvy in. What's the definition of savvy?
Let's look it up.
Because I don't think what we do requires someone to be internet savvy or computer savvy, all that extra. Nah, you gotta be coachable. I don't need you internet savvy. You gotta be coachable and teachable.
So in layman's terms, savvy, the definition is having a level of comprehension.
A level of comprehension. Well, you gotta have some level of comprehension, but good gracious. I think if we have a conversation about being in business your comprehension level should be savvy enough that you can master
Y'all hear me?
the basics of almost anything.
Savvy
Well,
means having practical, shrewd intelligence or understanding of a situation, often with knowledge and experience in a particular area. Savvy.
Yeah, see, I don't need you being savvy. I need you to be coachable like a kid who ain't savvy. I need all that savviness means you think you know too much any daggone way, right? We need you to be humble, hungry, and coachable. And in that way, when we say download Chat GPT, because all these I'm not computer savvy people got smartphones. Yeah. The same I'm not computer and internet savvy people were the same people that said I don't want a microwave when it came out. I get it, but you ended up using one anyway. I promise you did, right? So let's forget all that giving room for that extra excuse. Excuses are for the
and then Eric, and then with the microwave, they gained momentum because they started trying different things. They was popcorn in there one time, and they started cooking, defrosting food. We talking about momentum, you all. So get out your own way, gain some momentum by keeping the business simple, staying plugged in, and being intentional in your business.
Here's how you get out of your own way. You do that by learning. At some point, I be saying this all the time. I think I'm gonna write a book on it. You learn how to separate your feelings from your finances. And that's a hard pill to swallow for some people, that they have not yet separated their feelings from their finances. It's my feelings that's going to have me tell you, Mr. Lillard, well, I ain't internet savvy. It's my feelings that's going to tell you, Mr. Jenkins, I don't really want to go live on the internet, and I don't really want to do that. I don't want to talk to so-and-so. It's usually always got something to do with how you feel about something. It's the reason why you ain't doing the something that's needed to get done. And your finances is over here like, man, I don't care nothing about them feelings. Because you can't cash not one check for feelings. And a lot of our feelings are holding us.
Feelings are almost personal.
Feelings
are almost personal when you think about it. It's people take everything personal because their feelings are involved. And I tell people, in business, you can't have feelings. You have to, as a business owner, think about Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. Like, these people don't have feelings. They're thinking about that next $1 trillion they're trying to get to. They're trying to figure out how can they mastermind and game plan and create a collaborative bond with some people that's going to be able to invest in their products to get them to that next level so that they can be wealthier than they currently are. They're not in their feelings about people not buying their cars or shopping on their platform. They're not in their feelings about those things. People who are canceling or processing refunds and returns. They're figuring out, what more can I add? What services can we offer? How can we put, satellite radio in a Tesla, right? So we can now enhance the driver's experience. They're thinking next level. We're thinking like, what's happening tomorrow? No, we got to think about future forward, right? We got to think about what is it going to take for us to get our families to those spaces that we're trying to get to. And again, as you mentioned, E, at the top of the call, we have the vehicle. How far are you going to drive to get there?
Absolutely.
I like that you said that people are in their feelings. So it's not that those leaders you talked about earlier don't have feelings, because we got feelings, but we're not in our feelings, like Mr. Jenkins just said. We're not in our feelings. See, when you in your feelings, you engulfed in something. You can't see clearly because you in something that don't have nothing to do with the end game, which is your finances. We need to be in your finances and see them 1 + 1 = 2. Ain't got nothing to do with, well, this one over here feels like it should be a 2, right? There's no feelings involved. 1 + 1 is 2. And we're trying to get some multiplication done, some exponential growth over here.
Hey, Eric, remember, I don't know if you remember, when you actually you do remember, we used to do a hot Saturday training at your crib about 7 years ago, and I would do a training called the emotional roller coaster. Right?
Absolutely.
Someone in your organization, they got started, they went bronze. Someone on the team made you upset. Somebody came on the team again. Somebody went gold builder. 5 people quit. So you got to be even kill in your business. You can't be up down because if you're on that emotional roller coaster trying to be a leader, guess what? Your team will too. Your team is a product of who you are. So if you are always emotional, it's gonna be hard for people to follow you because they don't see your belief level, your belief system is weak. You gotta have a strong belief system. Got to do some personal development, some reading, and we're talking about momentum. These are the things that are going to help you get momentum and keep it. Everything that we talked about tonight. And so,
Absolutely.
if you want to get momentum in your business, you got to be even keel. In the closing, for me, Mr. Scott, we've been in business together for over 15 years, and we don't always agree on everything. And he knows that we don't. But somehow, some way, when we get off that phone, we find a way to have an even keel on everything. We just find it. It's like, okay, we're solution driven, right? We're trying to, whatever the problem is, we're trying to fix it. And he knows that we bang his all the time, but we always find a way to be even kill on the end because we find something that we can agree on. Because it's not about you, it's not about Daryl, it's not about Eric, it's about the entire network. Because if we're not on the same page, if you're not on the same page as a leader, then guess what? Your team's not gonna be on the same page.
So look, since you went there, and we talking about momentum and growth and speed and people and more people, with more people come more attitudes. And we just got finished listening to a gentleman who wrote a book on attitudes. Right, he's one of the leader, if not the leader speaker on leadership in the industry. Mr. Lillard, you just said that you and Mr. Scott be disagreeing. Y'all be butting heads. But when we, the masses, when we see y'all, it look like y'all ain't never butt heads. You telling me that y'all got some differences of opinions and some you see blue and he see green and y'all gotta have a conversation about mess and testosterone, and both of y'all do big dudes, so I can imagine how them conversations might look. Now for me,
But he lost some weight though,
had
so
no
Scott look good right now. I gotta give it.
But what's interesting is in this industry, and we just got finished talking about separating your feelings from your finances, right? I almost believe that there's almost nothing that you or Mr. Scott or Mr. Jenkins or anybody else in leadership, nothing y'all gonna say to me that's really gonna get me off track with what the common goal is that we all have. Because we still got a common goal. And we can have some disagreements. I might not like, I might not do what Daryl does. And I might not agree with what someone such as, we might have a back and forth. But the common goal is almost like, well, if you was a kid that lived with me in my house, we might be, boom, boom for a little bit. But all right, we're going to get back focused to what we're supposed to be doing. How are you able to do that with Mr. Scott being as emotional as you are sometimes, right?
He just told you the big emotional freak out here.
I can be.
That's what I'm saying. So you one of those guys that can get their emotions, get it off the chest, which often might lead to one of those quick back and forth because you're gonna say what need to be said, right? I might think about it for a little bit, size you up, and then we're gonna have that conversation. But you, Mr. Lillard, you the same person that walked into the meeting with 100 people in here and said, look, we've been take over this junk. Well, how?
Like it ain't raised eyebrows.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I know that had to ruffle some feathers. So how are you able to, when Mr. Scott still gets on your nerves and y'all disagree, how are you still able to he chop it up? Or how is that water under the bridge for you when I see so many other people who they disagree with their leader? It's like, oh my God. I remember the first time somebody called me and said, I can't stand Daryl. Like, what the heck, Daryl? That's my man. What'd he do? He done locked me out the daggone meeting. Huh? What meeting? He had a team meeting and said we was supposed to be on there by XYZ time, and if not, he was going to lock the call. And so, long story short, this particular person got to the call late, and Daryl's call was locked. Ooh, they was in their feelings because they paid $200 to be in this business. And I don't know what ended up happening later. I don't know if that's a conversation that Daryl had to have many times.
I'm not.
Look at that. But watch this. The fact that people are thinking this way in partnership. No one's your boss. No one's your, right? Preston ain't your boss, but he done told you to do some things. He done pulled your card a few times and you ain't like it. But you still here, nine going on 10 years later. And I've seen and watched people quit this business because they did not like their sponsor. And we talking about dealing with wanting to be 3 and 4 star, 1,500 people, 300 people, 500 people. You can't deal with 20 people. How you going to be a 1-star director if everything hurts your feelings and messes with your finances? Talk about that, Mr. Lillard.
Well, there's several things, though, but I don't know if you all paid attention in the directors group, but Mr. Scott tagged on consistency, being teachable, coachable, hungry, and the word humble. Humility gets you everything. And watch this. Listen, it's hard to do for most, but I've mastered that. I've mastered being able to have humility in a situation, even if I think I'm wrong, if I think the other person is right, because there's strength in numbers. We're stronger together than we are apart. And when you have separation, and I've seen this done in other companies, cats were working together, they split up, and so then you had what are called cliques, and it just murdered the organization. The second word is vision. Your vision got to be so big that it overcomes any trials and tribulations in your business. If your vision ain't big enough, you're going to quit. If your vision ain't big enough, you're going to complain. If your vision ain't big enough, anything go on. But when your vision you're focused on your vision, it can't get in the way of anything. So my vision is always, when I'm on the phone with Preston, we be on the phone for an hour. And we be going and we talk about how can we do this? How can we do this? And he said this to me many times. He's like, wow, bro, I can't believe we just went through that. And we getting off and everything is good because I'm not focused. Watch this. If I get away from people who always find a solution or a problem for a solution, I get away from people that's always finding a problem for solutions. I'm solution driven. So if you got a solution and every time you come to a solution, this other person got a problem, it's going to be hard to, we got to find a solution. So I'm very solution driven. And that's why Preston and I've been, Eric, we've had some conversations, not many. Daryl called me yesterday. Daryl said, hey man, what is this?
Well, that ain't really what I said.
And listen,
Daryl was serious. I'm like, wait a second. About Daryl. Don't play with Daryl. Play with somebody else. Don't play with me.
He called me. I'm like, bro, hey man, hey, we having. Listen, y'all, this business is fun. It ain't supposed to be like a job. This is not a job. This is free enterprise. We're supposed to have fun with this thing.
Yeah, but you know what, Raj? Like you just mentioned, it's free enterprise. And so we can freely separate ourselves with the understanding that we all run individual businesses.
That is true.
So at the end of the day, you got to be responsible for your business. Me not speaking to you not going to determine how much money I'm going to make next month. So at the end of the day, even if it's in your pay line, you still got responsibility because guess what? Your down now going to help drive your pay. So me not speaking to look, you do your thing. I know you're going to do your thing, right? At some point, there will have to be a space where there has to have a conversation had. But people have to also understand that people are in leadership positions. They're driving the team that they've built with some processes and things that are in place and aligned with the Platinum Network, with Shedrick White's organization with Donald Bradley inside of Planet Marketing. There's things that are taken, components that are used as building blocks, and people don't like structure things. They want to do it their own way, recreate the wheel. I think you and I were even talking about individuals who took Mr. Bradley out of the presentation and did their own. Why would you go and revamp something for your own? They do what they want to do because they feel like it's successful until it's called out. Then when it's called out and you call to the carpet, now you embarrassed and you feel a type of way and you feel disrespected by it when people are just calling you to the carpet. There's no feelings in this. This is business. It's no different than you going to work and they saying, hey, Raj, come in this conference room for a second. Listen. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, that superior is going to call you to the carpet on whatever it was you did wrong. We have to be adult about it and be accountable. Did we or did we not do it? You know what that was? I always tell people, and again, my background is in management for more than 16 years, but I used to tell people, we focus on the wrong stuff sometimes. We focus on the tone versus the message. Is what was said to you the truth? Is what was written to you the truth? We want to deflect and make it about the tone that the person, no, it's the message. Hey, yeah, it could probably come across a different way, but we got to look past that and say, let me start dissecting the message like that. You know what? That is the truth. And sometimes it stings. So it feels a little abrasive when you think about the message like that. That is the truth. They used to say the truth hurts, right?
Man, there's a really, 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 really good book. And I already know there's been some folks that have been around for a while that haven't read it, that don't have it, right? And I know because of the conversations that I have with them. And it's one of our 5 core books, by the way.
It's one of your favorites.
To Win Friends. What do you say?
It's one of your favorites.
Yes, it's my favorite book of all time. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I'm telling you right now, if you want to get your communication skills up and being able to hold conversations, right, I highly recommend reading that book. It's a long read and read it more than once because you'll get something different. Personal development and we have professional development, right? 2 different things, but personal development, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I'm telling you, it's going to help you become a better listener. Like I have real issues if I'm talking to somebody and they talk for 5 minutes, I say 2 words, they start talking, I have to stop them because I got to let them know, hey, listen, I just listened to you. I just asked you to listen to me. And sometimes you can control conversations by not saying anything. You ever been in a conversation with somebody and they said, are you listening to me? Because they used to somebody cutting them off all the time, right? So I become a very good listener. And guess what? It's attractive. When you're, and this is when you're, on doing these things here, Zooms, belly to belly, I become really good at becoming a good listener. That's why people like being around me. They're like, Raj is the guy we like to hang around. That's because I listen. I'm always listening. Become a better listener. And if you're thinking about what you're going to say when they're talking, you ain't listening. You got to hear Harley what they're saying so that you understand. A lot of times you can catch them on a lie too, because when they start repeating themselves 2 or 3 times, yeah, I know you know. So again, this all has to do with momentum, you all. We talk about momentum tonight. Back to you, Eric.
Look, we're gonna keep this momentum going. The goal is to again encourage those of you watching live and recorded. We're hoping that we're giving you some nuggets that you can use. We're giving you some practical applications for you to apply. Like Mr. Jenkins said, it's going to be up to you to get out there and apply it. Every person in a leadership position isn't a leader. They're in a leadership position. Understand the difference. You
That's
can put people in this company and not know what you was doing at all based on influence and be a goal builder, which is a potential leader, and still not be a leader. You had a background in plumbing by yourself for the last 20 years, and you know 9 plumbers. They joined you. Now you're a leader. Nah, by position, right? The books, the 5 core books that we highly, highly recommend you study. I no longer say read these books because you're going to tell me next month, I read them. I read that one. Study these books. right? The 5 core books. And if you don't know what the 5 core books are, I'm not going to tell you right now, but ask your sponsor or your leader, position or actual leader, what the 5 core books are. But understand that is what's going to change the way you think. What you pour into your mind is going to change the way you think. Once you change the way you think, I promise you, it changes the way you speak. Then once it changes the way you speak and the way you're thinking, it's going to now change your actions. And it all starts from a daggone book or books or people who've read the books because you put yourself in a position to hear from those people. One of my favorite books says, faith cometh by hearing, right? And a lot of people have a lack in their faith in this industry because you haven't heard enough about what we do. You haven't studied the stuff that we've been studying, right? This is the reason why you don't talk the way me, Daryl, and Roger talk about this industry in the midst of the pandemic or any other storm. We talking about it like it ain't raining outside. And if we hear you talking about it like, man, you don't see it's a daggone blizzard and this is such and such, and you don't see this and you don't see that. Me, Roger, and Daryl aren't seeing with our eyes. Understand that. Mr. We're using vision. Vision has everything to do with the way you think in your mind, the way you see it, the way you visualize it. Do you see yourself successful in this industry? We're trying to help you change that. I'm going to leave y'all with this. Be the leader worth following. If you're trying to build this business, we said it before. To get there, you're going to have to separate your feelings from your finances, right? But be the leader worth following. This means you're intentionally looking to figure out how you can serve the people, how you can better serve the people with better product or better product knowledge. What are you learning to help teach your people become better, right? And I'm going to end on that, guys. Go ahead and get the closing remarks. Be the leader worth following. Go ahead, Mr. Lillard.
I got a quick assignment for everybody. Real simple. This is what I'd like for everybody to do. I'd like for you to get a piece of paper and write 10 blanks. And I want you to write down 10 things that you want. Not need, want. What do you want? Mr. Bradley says he just wants people to want more out of life. So I want everybody to write down those 10 things. And if you make it past 5, your vision's big. Most people can't even make it past 5 because they don't know what they want. But we're in the opportunity that you can get what you want. Write down 10 things. And watch this. And when the business gets hard, look at that piece of paper.
Love it. Mr. Jenkins, what you got?
I'm going to close with make duplication your focus. You can't get to your next position, whether it is goal builder, director in training, 1-star, any star, right? 6-figure ring earner without duplication within your downline. And it ties into being the leader, become the leader you want to be, right? You want to be, or you desire to have, right? You want people to follow your leadership based on the things that you have accomplished, but you also got to be able to duplicate those same things, right? You can't just be the superstar and not create more stars, right? People are always looking to be the center of attention. I'm always behind the scenes. So until I needed to be in the front of the rooms to see and help other people, it made much more sense to me to be able to create that duplication. So again, go out, win big for yourself and your family, and take this serious. Increase your belief. Y'all got this.
I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be here every first and third Wednesdays. We also want to remind you this is the perfect time to start reminding your folks and your guests that are going to be on Platinum Wednesdays at 8:30 this evening to jump on Platinum Wednesdays. Mr. Lillard, as we close out, I know there was some comments and some things or some questions or some statements or whatever I might have missed inside of it. Give those people some love and let's see if a couple people might have said something profound worth sharing before we close out.
Well, before I do that, I do want to say what we didn't share earlier when we first started was the 10-year anniversary is October 11th. We didn't give a date, but that is if you go to your calendar in your back office, you can find and go to calendar, click on the date, and it'll give you all the flyers for whatever's happening on that day. But October 11th. What I have here, Cameron Dawson, she says speak. I don't know if she was talking about me, you, or Daryl.
You got to read every comment, man. I'm
just going down. I'm scrolling down. And Leslie Pickett says, "Thanks, gentlemen." Okay, that's about it. That's about it.
That's what's up. Shout out to everybody who commented. We appreciate you all. Like I said, we're gonna be right back here next week, next Wednesday. As we part, we're gonna leave y'all with this smooth residual income song.
Time today. Coachy Cliff here talking about making money a different way. So
residual income, everybody needs it.
Anyway, I had to find that funny. Hold up, let's get back to money. We talking residual income, and you should want some.
You should want some.
All day. That's the pay.
What you think, Mr. Lillard?
I like this song. You gotta get this one, but a little up tempo so we can bop on the way out.
Yeah, we definitely got to bop on the way out. I just had to say that. Residual income.
Here we go. That's an old school bop.
You know, we'll be right back. First and third Wednesdays, I think we're back on the first Wednesday now.